Okay, so we'll be starting from page 85 of your textbook. So we are finally getting started with chapter 4 or lesson 4 or section 4, whatever you want to call it. I see we have another person joining us, so that's cool. So this is all about web applications. This is actually mostly what I do for like when I'm not tutoring and working on my project and stuff. This is usually what I'll do. So I don't have my textbook with me right now because I'm at my dad's house. It's no problem. Most of the information is on the slide, and what you really need is like a laptop or a computer to be working on. Okay, so if you're accessing on your phone, if you could try to get access to a laptop or computer. If you can't, then you're welcome to work through the lecture when you do have access to one. But still concentrate and focus because, yeah, this first lecture we'll be keeping quite practical. We're basically going to make a web page. Your laptop is also at your mom's house. Okay, that's pretty unlucky. You won't be able to follow with this one. It's not like a Rex tester thing. But as soon as you get a laptop or computer, you can do it, and it is quite fun as well. But yeah, you won't need your textbook ready to follow along. So yeah, I'm just telling you where you can see this stuff. Let me open up the chat in case I get any questions. Minimize this. Cool. So sorry, what page again? Well, section 4 starts on page 85, and we'll literally just be working through it. Okay, so we're going through, yeah, kind of, this is web application development, but today's lecture is more on web page development. Right now, you might not even understand the distinction between those two things, but we'll learn about that now. So this is cool. Okay, a lot of chapter 4, or not a lot, but quite a bit of chapter 4 you'll know already. And so we won't have to spend, well, we'll be refining the knowledge you do have as opposed to learning something totally new, which is quite cool. So can anyone tell me in the chat, just to get some interaction going? Pretty easy question, I think. What does www stand for? And if you want to have a crack at it, you could also tell us what it is. Feel free to speak through your mic. You can also type in chat. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think most of you guys probably know what www stands for. Yeah, so Jatin and Saham have now said World Wide Web, so that's correct, of course. I imagine you guys can't probably at this point you can't give a technical, and yeah, cool. Connor says you'd say the same thing, so that's cool. And yeah, right now you might not be able to give a technical definition of what the World Wide Web is. So we'll refine our understanding of that a little bit. What is the structure or what thing will the World Wide Web use to identify specific pages or websites? What do we call it? What do we call it? Does anyone know this? Slightly more difficult question. Okay, so you're saying, Saham, you say HTML, not exactly. We will be learning about these things. So it's cool that you're familiar with these words. Jatin says HTTP. Definitely HTTP is related to what I'm asking about here. But I'm asking, it's an even simpler question than that, guys. If you want to share a web page or a website with someone, let me just mute my phone so it stops going bing, bing, bing. If you want to share a specific page with someone or share a specific site with someone, what would you send them? How do we share links? How do we identify a web page? The web address. Yeah, okay, cool. That's close enough. The term I was looking for, Jatin, you said it before I did. That's cool. So yeah, URL is what I was looking for. .com, interesting. So that's what we would call the top domain. Yeah, close. So, but yeah, definitely related. All these things are related, 100%. Cool. So you guys see you have quite a lot of knowledge about the types of things we'll be learning in chapter 4. You definitely named a lot of the acronyms that we'll be exploring. So that's cool. But yeah, let's just refine our understanding a little bit. It's not super difficult and it's quite interesting as well. But yeah, just remember these things for when you're asked about them. Okay. The World Wide Web on a technical level is what we would call a collection of interconnected hypertext documents. These hypertext documents are what we call web pages. Okay, so that's all it is. You might have an expectation that it's more than this, right? If you look at what the World Wide Web can do, it's quite impressive. But really, it is just a collection of interconnected hypertext documents. So it's literally, they're text documents, basically, fancy text documents. And what we mean by interconnected is that they all link to each other. They like point to each other. They're all identifiable. And that's all the World Wide Web is. Okay. Specifically, the main innovation of the World Wide Web is actually the idea of hypertext. And we'll discuss this in a little while. Okay. The next thing would be, okay, cool. So they're interconnected, but obviously in order for them to be interconnected, they have to be able to point to each other, right? They have to be able to reference each other. So how do we identify each web page or web resource? By resource, by the way, I mean like, so there's hypertext documents, which is the pages that you see or the pages that your browser renders. By resource, I mean things like images and videos and, you know, various other things that you might find on the internet, right? GIFs, all of this kind of stuff. So each web page or web resource is identified by what we call a URL, Uniform Resource Locator. Okay, that's what that stands for. Do remember what that stands for, okay? Uniform Resource Locator. Resource Locator is fairly self-explanatory. Uniform, that's just there because they're uniformly defined, right? Each URL has a set meaning, and each part of the URL means the same thing, regardless of what URL you're looking at. So for example, let's consider this URL. You guys could get this URL. You could actually visit it if you wanted to. I mean, you don't have to. All this is the URL for the Google Slides that I am currently working through, okay? So this is the URL for this set of Google Slides. And I shared all the Google Slides on the group. But the important thing is, what does this URL mean? What does each part of the URL mean? So the first part, who was it who named it? It was Jatin. The first part, HTTP, or in this case, HTTPS. So HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Okay, so a few new things. Hypertext, we'll explore what that is and what it means, what it's referring to later on in quite a lot of detail. But as we've seen, the World Wide Web, a collection of interconnected hypertext documents. So that's what it's referring to. This is how we transfer hypertext, okay? And we know what transferring is. Protocol, you guys might not know what a protocol is. The formal definition is just given here, or somewhat formal. A protocol is just a set of rules or a procedure defining how a system should behave, okay? So the hypertext transfer protocol is just a set of rules dictating how we transfer hypertext, okay? That's it. Hypertext transfer protocol secure is just a encrypted version of HTTP. So I can show you this actually most websites on the internet now are HTTPS, and at least they all should be. So Google has said that they now derank pages if they are not HTTPS. So actually, I think Brighter Futures' page isn't. So we can go visit that just to see. Maybe they've changed it, I don't know. So let's visit that, if that's working. But you can see here, I've got an HTTPS website here, HTTPS, okay? And all that means is that it's encrypted. So your information is private when it is sent to the site. So your information is private when it's sent to the site. It's encrypted, and you can click learn more and find how they define this. But basically it's secure, and it means it has the certificate as well. So you can see that the certificate, it gives you how it's encrypted and all of this kind of stuff. This is very technical. Let's encrypt authority X3. We don't have to go through in detail what these things mean and how it's set up, but you guys must just know that the little lock there, the HTTPS before a link, is important. If you don't have it, you see it will say not secure. Your connection to the site is not fully secure. So this means that any information that I send to the site is not necessarily encrypted. It might be, but it's not guaranteed, okay? So yeah, anyway, cool. So that first bit is just the protocol that the World Wide Web uses to transfer hypertext. That's all it's specifying, okay? It's implied. If you're accessing a website on www, then that will be there, okay? So HTTP defines the rules of how browsers communicate with servers. We'll discuss that in more detail later with some pictures, so that'll be easier. A browser, okay, yeah, and all of that will be discussed later as well, okay? The next bit of the URL, this docs.google.com or whatever, defines the actual web server. Okay, this is what's hosting the resources that we are accessing to, and it will respond to our requests. All this server is a big computer. Okay, it's just a big computer. It's really not more technical than that. And you can see that it's literally just a big computer because this next part here is the path on the server to the resource we are requesting. And this is exactly how paths work on your own computer, right? Like you can see, I've got a folder open here, and you can see it's in home, desktop, work, Bryanston, site, right? That's the path that I am accessing. And you can imagine it'll just say /home, /desktop, /work, /Bryanston, /site. Okay, it's the exact same on the web server. And for all the files on your computer as well, it's the same, right? Each each resource on your computer is defined at a specific path. Okay, it's saved to a specific path. So that's all the URL represents, right? We've got the protocol that we're using to transfer the hypertext. We've got the server that we're accessing, and we've got the location that we're accessing on the server. All right, not too bad. Cool, so that was just refining some knowledge that we probably already have. You guys are probably quite familiar with URLs. You know what the World Wide Web is, kind of, at least you have an idea. And we were just kind of formalizing that knowledge. Now we can start discussing things more technically and actually do some more practical stuff. I think today we'll keep it quite interesting. It'll be unfortunate if you can't follow along, but you can come back to the lecture before next week. So HTTP defines rules to transfer hypertext documents between servers and browsers. But how are they created? How are they developed? So that's what we're going to look at today. How do we create hypertext documents? And basically, in order to learn this, we are going to be learning or covering 3 different languages. Okay, 3 different languages for how to create these hypertext documents. Okay, so we will be, none of them are C#, but we will be covering 3 new languages today. Some of them might be not new to you, or at least one of them probably isn't new to you, but the other 2 almost certainly will be. The 3 languages we're going to learn. The first one, HTML. This is the basic one. This is very important. This is where you start when making a hypertext document. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Okay, we'll discuss it in more detail in a little bit. The next language that we're going to be learning is called Cascading Style Sheets. Some people would say cascading style sheets is not actually a language, but we're going to call it a language, okay? And JavaScript. Saham, you guessed it exactly. JavaScript, this is a big deal nowadays. JavaScript is it's pretty uncontroversial to say that JavaScript is the future of the internet, honestly. It's definitely how everyone is developing sites nowadays, okay? The future of web developments, I should say. Obviously, the internet has other things going on, but the future of web development probably lies in JavaScript. That's how everyone's doing things nowadays. Cool, but let's get started. So HTML, we'll start with HTML. Before we actually, yeah, okay, I'll introduce it and then we'll start with the practical stuff, okay. So HTML is a text and tag-based language. It's fairly straightforward, it's very readable, and it's very easy to learn, okay? It mostly defines the templates and layout of a web page, okay? So it defines the layout for a web page. Nowadays, and the template for a web page. Nowadays, that templating can be quite complicated. So we won't discuss the highest level of templating that it can do, but basically, you can view it as defining the layout of a web page. It does this through a series of tags, and we're going to go through each of the tags, but we're going to do it practically. Okay, you are actually going to create a web page today. In order to do this, I did ask you guys last week to set up some files. I imagine we're going to have some complications with this, but don't worry. We'll work through it. If you're having problems getting the files working, then please do tell me. Okay, and we'll work through these issues. Okay, so I asked you guys to create a folder. It can be anywhere on the desktop of your computer, anywhere you like. Okay, you can put this folder anywhere. I mean, not in trash, but put it somewhere you can use it, you know. And Cool. So inside that folder for now, it can just be an empty folder. But inside that folder, we're going to create these things. You won't need this folder called assets, but we'll discuss it later. Actually, let me rename this because it currently says assets. So assets, there we go. You don't need that folder yet. What we need is these 3 files. This is what's important. And even more important than that is this one file, okay, for now. This is what we're starting with, a .html file. How are you going to create a .html file? Okay, you guys, probably, I think most of you are working on Windows. If you're working on Mac, it's fine. It'll be very similar. So must we use a PC? I might be able to use my dad's MacBook. You can use a MacBook, Connor. You can use a MacBook 100%. In fact, using a MacBook will be even more similar to how my computer's working. Okay, but anyway, whatever you're using, and you can use any laptop you like, Windows or Mac, the instructions I give is going to be more specified towards Windows, but it'll work 100% on a Mac. Okay. Anyway, so the first thing, you need a search. If you're on a Windows computer, it'll be called Notepad. If you're on a Mac, it'll be called Text Edit. Okay, so Notepad for Windows or Text Edits for Mac. Okay, so you'll look for one of those 2 applications. Okay, this is your text editor. Okay, it'll open up just a blank screen like this. I imagine most of you have maybe seen this before. You've probably played with the text editor before. It's not too crazy, right? Cool. So open up either Notepad or Text Edit or whatever text editor you're using. And in order to create this file, so you might think that you've created a .html file, but we're going to make sure that it's working how we need it to work, okay? Because some computers will change things slightly. What you're going to do in this text editor, you can click File, Save As, or something like that, or you can just push Control S, okay? Control S, something like that. You want to open up a new document and save it, all right? You can pick where you want to save it inside the folder that we're going to be working with. So go ahead and save it inside the folder that we are working with. So mine is just called site. Your folder could be called whatever you want. Okay. You're going to type in the name. Make sure you give it a full name. Okay. It can be whatever you want. You could call it, a lot of people call this file index.html. Okay. The important thing, you can give it any name you like. Okay, any name you like, as long as it has .html afterwards, okay? And try to avoid using spaces, keep it simple. Like maybe go with mysite.html or mypage.html or index.html is a very popular thing to call it, okay? So index.html works. So Ham, you might have already done it, but you must make sure that it's working correctly. I'm just gonna go through it this time. Okay, at the bottom of the saving thing, it might be in a slightly different place to where mine is. There'll be a drop-down menu, okay? It will say all text files and all files. You must make sure that you select all files, okay? Because you must make sure that it is not .html.txt, okay? You must avoid the .txt. You want just .html. And in order to get that just .html, you have to save it as in all files, okay, in all files. And then you can go ahead and click save and it'll work and we'll be all good, okay. So yeah, that's that, okay, and you'll be able to click save. Cool. And what you want at the end is just a .html file, okay, here's mine. Okay, so it has, hopefully everyone's gotten to that point. We'll see now if yours is working. Okay, so you need to open, so we are making a web page. Yeah, exactly. We're making a web page, which will be one part of a website, you could say. So the root of a website, if you like. We won't actually be making this available on the web yet, although you could if you wanted to. But we won't be doing that yet. For now, we're just going to create a web page that you'll be able to access locally. I'm sorry, sir, but you went a bit quick. Okay, so I'll go again. Don't worry about it. Okay, so you open up your notepad or your text edit. You've got that, right? That's cool. Then you can push Control S or Save As or anything like that. You want to save a text file. Okay, you want to save a text file. Okay. So you just want to save a text file. So you'll click like new file, Control S will usually work. That's a good way of going about it. You type a full name, any name you want. I suggest just using index.html to keep it simple. Okay, so index.html, you type the whole thing. You obviously select like normal, you select where you want it to save. Okay, I'll wait a little bit so I don't go too fast again. Okay. And once you've done that, you must just make sure there'll be a drop down somewhere at the bottom of this little box that pops up when you're saving something. There'll be a drop down that has two options. Okay, it'll say all text files and it'll say all files. And you must make sure you click all files. Okay, all files. And it'll look something like this on Windows. The option that you must select will be like all files, and then it'll have like a little dot inside some brackets. So that's just saying this is not going to add anything on to the end of this file. It's just opening it in as a text format. Okay, so that's what you must select in that drop down, and then you just click save, and that'll be okay. Right, you just click save, and then you're done. Keep the text file open. I mean, if you don't have to. We'll discuss how to get back to it, and you'll just have your .html file. That's what's important. Okay, I know quite a lot of setup, but you'll see now that it is important. I do want everyone to be able to follow along. So if you're still having trouble, let me know. I also recorded a little bit of a video doing it on my Windows computer, so I could send that on the WhatsApp group as well if necessary. Actually, you know what? I'll just do that. I'll forward it. It's not a very good quality video because I was filming it with one hand while doing it, so it's not a super good quality video, but it might help for anyone who's still struggling. So let me just forward that to the group quickly in case anyone's having trouble with that. Okay, cool. So that's that. Next thing. Okay, we need to discuss how to open this. This will be opened in both a browser and a text editor. Okay. So you can right click and click open with. Your computer might automatically want to open this with Mozilla or Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome. Okay, your computer might automatically want to do that, or it'll open it in a text editor. Go ahead and you can just do both. Okay, so I'm going to open it in Google Chrome. So I've opened our .html in Google Chrome, and I've also got it open in my text editor. How you'll do this is you'll right click on it. Okay, and you'll click open with. It might be like open with ... You might have to select more applications or more options to open it with both the browser and the text editor. So a small issue, I just have load shedding, so I can use my data, but I may run out. Okay, that's a real pity. We knew that load shedding was coming today, so yeah, it's the video will be uploaded as usual. So if you do disconnect, that's cool. Yeah, Opera is just a weird browser, right? It's just a normal browser. So yeah, any browser's fine. Saham, Google Chrome, Mozilla, whatever. Okay, as it'll always be able to read HTML. Okay. And you can select another one if you want to. So you can just click open with other application and open it in any browser you like, but have it open in Notepad and in the browser. Okay, so have it open in Notepad and whatever browser you're using. Okay, and now we can start now. Okay, we can finally start. So have it open in Notepad. Okay, so have your .html file open in Notepad, and we're just going to type a simple line here, and I'll post it in the chat as well. Okay, this is the line that I just typed there. Okay, and after you type it, just hit Control S so you make sure you save. Okay, the line I typed was, so I opened a little arrow, a left-facing arrow, exclamation point, doc type, HTML, close the little arrow. Okay, what that means, all that's doing is it's telling the computer that this is a HTML file, that this is a hypertext file. And you can see it even changed the little icon on my computer. Yours might not do that. It's okay. It's okay if it doesn't, by the way. So yeah, but it's fine. So you're just specifying that this is an HTML file just in case the .html wasn't enough. Okay. So yeah, that's that. Hopefully we're good on that. We push Control S, we're done putting it right. Yeah, when you're done typing it, so Control S will just save. So just make sure that you save, okay? You can also just click save if you prefer. You can do it however you want. Usually we use Control S to save because it's just a bit quicker, okay? Cool. So we've created this document, and yeah, so currently it's not going to display anything in the browser, okay? Because it's just an empty hypertext document. It's not doing anything yet. Can't open it up on Notepad. So Saham, you must right click open with ... and you might even have to select more options at the bottom. Okay, you might have to select more options at the bottom. And you just have to find Notepad or a text editor somewhere, okay, in that more options section. So you can click open with other application. It'll be something similar to that. And you might have to say view all applications or search for Notepad or something like that. It might be, your computer might make it a little bit difficult because Windows does try to hide these things from you. But yeah, you will be able to. You definitely will be able to because it's just a document. Okay. So let me know if you manage to. Okay, is everyone okay? Feel free, guys. If you're struggling to follow along, then just let me know. Hey, and I'll slow down and we can go through things. Okay, cool. You're good. You're good. Cool. All right. So Saham, did you, is it good now? Have you got it in Notepad? Ooh, let me see. Someone sent a picture on the group. Yeah, open with. So say choose another app. No problem. Yeah, so say choose another app at the bottom there, Saham. And if it's not immediately shown, you'll just have to scroll down through a list and eventually you'll find Notepad. Okay. Eventually you'll find Notepad. So click choose another app. You might have to search or click more options or something like, okay, you got it. Awesome. Great stuff. Cool. So yeah, if anyone else is having problems, feel free. I know it is a little bit confusing. The Windows computers definitely do make it a little bit more difficult. So don't worry about that. Let me just, sorry, I'm just messaging Connor because he says his data just ran out. So I'm just saying sorry and we'll upload the video. Cool. Okay, let's continue. So, as I said, HTML is a text and tag-based language. What do we call a tag? Okay, a tag is just a word in between these two arrows. Okay, a left-facing arrow and a right-facing arrow, or less than, greater than sign. Okay, so that's how we define tags. There's a whole lot of tags in HTML. We won't be able to go through all of them, and I will just show you before we continue. When you're actually developing HTML, even good programmers, they won't memorize every single tag. That's just not feasible. There's way too many. And they have way too many technicalities. How most people will do this is they'll go to Google, they'll type HTML cheat sheet and open up their favorite one. There's lots of different ones available online. And it gives you all of the different HTML tags that you could ever want and gives you examples of how to use them. Okay. We are going to, some tags it's important that you know, okay? So we will be going through some tags and you are expected to remember them. But in general, when you're creating a web page, don't feel pressured to, remember every single tag you've ever seen, okay? First tag that is important, okay, is the HTML tag, okay? So all you do I'll type it out. You put HTML, like so. You just type it out, HTML, and Notepad might even highlight it for you. It might not as well, but it doesn't matter if it does or doesn't, because the browser will be able to read it. And whenever we open a tag, it's similar to how curly brackets and brackets work in C#. Whenever we open a tag, we also close a tag, okay? How do we close it? You just put a little slash in front of it, okay? A little slash. So you open it up and then you close it by typing the same thing, but with a slash just before it, like I did in the chat there. Okay? So that's our first tag, the HTML tag. All that's doing is defining, it's almost like the name, it's like the space in which we're writing all of our HTML. Okay, so it's just telling the browser that from the start of this tag to the end, this is our block of HTML. Okay, basically like this first set of curly brackets in a C# program. Okay, so that's all that is. So we just opened and closed our HTML tags. Pretty straightforward. This website still won't do anything because we haven't told it to do anything yet. Okay? So let's learn a few more tags and finally get something working. Okay. Another tag is called head. Head is short for header. Okay, head is short for header. So I'll add that tag as well. So inside my HTML tag, I'm going to just tab up. Each time I do things, I'm going to push tab just to make it neater. Okay, you don't have to put the tabs. HTML doesn't care about them. They're for your benefit. Just like in C# actually. And I'm just going to put head, and I opened the head tag, and so I have to close the head tag. So I put this inside the HTML tag, okay, just like that, head, and then slash head, okay. Again, this is still doing nothing, but we can immediately start seeing how this is going to be structured already. You guys can probably tell me, what tag do you think we're going to learn about next, right? What would a document have, like even a Word document? We've got a header, the head tag. What do you think would come next, guys? I mean, you could put a footer, Saham, but surely there's something. Okay, cool. I didn't see. So yeah, body will be next. But yeah, you can put, I assume there's an HTML foot tag. Don't think it's used very often, but yeah, the main thing, head and body. Okay. So just below the head tag, I'm going to open up the body tag. And of course, I opened up the body tag, so I have to close the body tag. Okay, exactly like with the head tag, we open up body and we close body. Okay, not bad. Cool, so we've already learned 3 tags and we still haven't done anything. So this was just defining, I remember back in our first C# lectures, we discussed the structure of a C# program. And this is kind of like that, right? There is a certain structure for creating an HTML document. And that's what we've learned now. That's the general structure. When you're creating an HTML document, you'll probably start with those 3 tags. Okay. And now things can get more interesting. Now we can start playing with the interesting tags. Okay, so I see there's lots of messages coming through. Okay, just laughing and then thanks. Cool. So cool. We've defined some basic tags. So let's start doing something with our website. Make sure that everything's working for everyone. And yeah, cool. So the next tag we're going to learn about is the P tag. Okay, P tag. So this is just defined like this. So that's opening and closing the P tag. And what P stands for is paragraph, okay, paragraph. So P stands for paragraph. So I'm going to go ahead and put a paragraph tag and put it inside the body. Okay, so inside the body tag, put a P tag. Okay, so P / P. So inside the body tag, put a P tag. And inside the P tag, you can type whatever you want. Okay, so this is my web page for chapter 4. You can type whatever you want. You don't have to type what I typed. It's totally up to you what your page is going to be about. So this is my web page for chapter 4. Okay. Now we have done something. I have added a paragraph to my body. Okay. So what you're going to do, so Saham is using Opera as the browser, so you can switch over to Opera. You could switch over to Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, whatever browser your computer uses. Okay, Mozilla Firefox, any browser. Okay, literally any browser will be able to understand this document. When you page over to that document, refresh it. Okay, so push Control R or click the refresh button, and you should see whatever paragraph you typed in your HTML document should appear in your browser, like on the web page. Okay, so I want you guys to get there. If it's not working, make sure you saved the text document. So push Control S, make sure that the text document was saved. Make sure you're opening the correct thing in the browser and all of that kind of thing. Okay, so just make sure all of that. If it's not working though, feel free to post a question or send a picture on the WhatsApp group, and I'll try to address your problem. And if it is working, please tell me as well, so that I can know we can keep going. Okay, I'm gonna leave it open in the text document. It worked. Great stuff. Great stuff. Everyone else, please let me know that it's working for you, and then we can continue. But once you've got this basic structure defined and it's working, you'll see that we can very quickly develop this. All right. It works. Cool stuff. Okay. Jotun, how about you? How's it going? Who else is still here? Azam, how's it going for you? Is it working? Okay, Connor disconnected, unfortunately. How are things going, guys? Is it working? Okay, I'll assume if you haven't posted, eventually I'll just assume that it works, I guess. Let's see. Okay. Okay, cool. It works for Jatson. Azam, how's it going? Okay, hopefully it's working. If not, then please do post and we can see. Cool. So we've got that going. Next is to say, cool. So we've got a paragraph tag, pretty straightforward, I think. The next tag we're going to learn about is image. All right. Okay. This one's pretty interesting. I think. Yeah. Okay. We need a web resource. Okay. So actually, what we learned about last week was quicksort. So I'm going to jump over to Wikipedia, because Wikipedia has a lot of free web resources, and it's also safe. So I'm going to go ahead and open up quicksort in Wikipedia. You can open up whatever Wikipedia page you want. Usually a Wikipedia page will have some GIF or some image in the top right here, okay, like this one I'm looking at here of quicksort. Okay, so I'm just going to open that up in a new tab. Okay, open up a new tab, or just click it, whatever. You can open it up, okay, like that. Okay. And this will work for any image. You could find an image on Google image search as well. Any one you like, really. Any image that's displayed on your web browser. Cool, it works. I'm glad. Okay. And just basically, you can right-click on an image and click either copy image address. It'll work for most images on Google, but you have to be careful. So if you click on copy image address or open image in new tab, something like that, in order for this to work, it has to be publicly available on the internet, okay? So what do I mean by that? It must look something like this, okay? You can use mine if you're not able to find a public image, because some images they do try to make it difficult for you to, download and share them. But this image works, and any image on Wikipedia or Wikimedia in this case should work. But what you're looking for, it must have the actual, at the end, you see it says sorting _ quicksort _ anim.gif. So this is pointing directly to the .gif, okay, directly. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. If you're looking to display a .png or a .jpg, the final part of the URL must be the actual image, okay, that it's pointing to. And when you open it in your browser, it'll look something like this, where it's just the image displayed at the center of the screen and there's nothing else. That means this image is publicly available. Anyone can download it if they have this URL. Okay, so that's what we need in order for this to work. You can also save one to your computer. So in this assets folder, I have a GIF of a Smurf hitting another Smurf on the head with the hammer. Okay. If you have a local image stored on your computer or a local GIF stored on your computer, this will work with that as well. Okay. But let's just keep it simple and use this Wikimedia GIF for now, and then we'll work on it. Okay. So if we have an image so GIFs count as well, okay, any kind of image or resource that is available from a public URL. So this is any image file, .png, .jpg, whatever, that's available at a public URL. We can use the HTML image tag, okay, image that is img, so you leave out the A and the E. Interestingly, most browsers will understand the image if you typed it out in full, but how it understands that is it just reads it as img. So you might as well just type img, because most browsers will just literally, if you type image, it'll just read it as img, okay? But anyway, so this is the tag, the image tag, and we can use that image tag to display any image that is available at a URL. Okay, so I'm gonna start by displaying that Wikimedia image tag. Okay. That Wikimedia image tag. I think, cool. After we do this, we'll take a short break because we have been going for 45 minutes. Okay. So how am I gonna do it? I'm gonna say image, and then we need to use a specific thing called the source. So you're giving it the source of the image, the place where it must fetch the image from. Okay, source equals, and then you just give it the URL that you are trying to display. Okay, so Control C, I'm just going to copy paste that URL over here. This actually didn't work for me last time, and I had to copy paste one of the students' versions. Okay, cool. It did work for me this time. And then you can save the text document that you just edited, the HTML documents. Go back to your browser and refresh. I'm going to send you the tag, how I typed it. Another little annoying thing about the image tag, images are very difficult to display, you can imagine. So you don't actually have to close the image tag because it's very dynamically handled. You can close it. It's not going to break anything if I put /image here. And if you're like OCD, you can close it, but it won't really make any difference. Most people don't close image tags. Okay, it's one of those weird little exceptions. All right. So if you could get to that point, I'll leave my text document open here, but you can see if I refresh it in the browser, I've got the paragraph that I typed and then the image that we're displaying there. Okay. But I'm going to leave it open in the text document just in case anyone is still following along and stuff. But for now, I think let's just take a 10-minute break, and we'll come back at 15:55. I forgot that we started at 3. Makes sense. Cool. So yeah, we'll come back at 15:55, and then we'll continue. Cool. It's working for Azam. That's great. Let me know if it's working for the rest of you guys as well. And yeah, we'll just take a short break. I mean, it is quite fun what we're doing, so it's not really too work intensive. But I don't wanna. I know you guys actually haven't had a long day because Saham told me that you didn't have school today. So maybe we can start at 15:50. I don't know. Let me know when you guys have got the image tag working and you're comfortable with that. And I'm just gonna go get a glass of water, and if everyone's told me that it's working by the time I get back, then maybe we can just get started again immediately at 15:50 instead of 15:55, but we'll see. And feel free to post any other questions that you have about stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go have a glass of water quick. Cool, I'm back. I see it works for you too, Saham. That's cool. Ooh, this is going to be difficult to find. One of our old, yeah, this one. So yeah, what's cool about this is once you've got this basic framework working, so I've just opened up one of our old lectures. And I should be able to, it works for you too, Justin, that's very cool. I should be able to do it with this as well. So open video in new tab. So we can embed one of our, we can do lecture, okay. So did you copy my image tag? Because it could just be that you have a small typo, and make sure that you save the text file as well. We often forget that. Oh, but I can ask you guys another thing. Did you just copy my image tag? If maybe paste your image thing, how you're doing it, your image tag in the chat, and I can see if it works on my side. Because obviously a lot could happen. So guys, but what is this? Notice how I'm specifying the source. I say source equals. Just get a normal image. Any Wikipedia page, Azam, should be able to give you a normal image. So if we say, I mean, I can go get one. We can say, but yeah, any Wikipedia page will be able to give you one, or just Google Images as well. I mean, I can show you. So I'll let me Google. Yeah, cool. So here we've got a bunch of. I thought I was going to go with a blue theme for my website, and we'll be designing it. But here but yeah, you can go with whatever you like, any sort of character or something like that. But if you have an image open like this in Google, you should just be able to click like open image in new tab, something like that, and it should give you a page like this. And it's very easy to embed this in your site. So I'll go here and I'll say copy image. I copied the thing in chat. You copied the thing. Okay, yeah, you can. You're welcome to copy the image tag that I posted in chat. But you can get it like this as well. So you copy the image address. So you right click on it, copy the image address. You can also copy paste the URL from the top here, however you want to do it. And I can literally just go ahead and I can replace this in my image tag, the source. So instead of the anim GIF, I'll paste the image tag, the image link that I copied. And when I refresh, bam, there's our guy. Okay. Not bad, huh? I can also use the one that I have stored locally on my computer. So I can go over to my assets folder here. I can copy. So if I right click and push properties on an image that I have saved on my computer, I'll be able to get like a path to where the image is stored. So this one is in /home/Joshua/desktop, and any image you have saved on your, so you see that Gummy Bear, that one says /raw at the end. It doesn't say /raw.png or .jpg. So did that work, Gummy, or did it not? Because it needs to have it needs to be an actual image, right? So it'll be, in this case, smurf.gif. So this is stored on my own computer. And when I open it up in my browser, push Control R, you can see I've got my GIF there. Okay. So tell you what, I'll send you guys the link to this GIF, and just in case you can't find another. Okay. So let me see if I can find it again. There it is. It was pretty easy to find. There it is. Okay, so all I have to do is click open image in new tab, and it opens like this. Okay, and just right click on it, copy image address. If you post this as the source, you see it's a .gif at the end. Then the image should display in your browser when you use it. Okay, and you can do this with most things that are available on Google Images will give you something like this. But remember, if it's something like this /raw, this is quite this is not it doesn't look like a public URL to me. They're trying to stop you from downloading that image. Okay, so obviously some people are protecting their intellectual property and stuff. Okay, cool. But have you got it, Gummy? Is it working okay? I do want to ask you guys a question now though. What is this? When I say source equals, and then I specify a URL inside those quotation marks. So what is that URL, guys? What does source expect here? What do you give source? What would we call that from what we know from the course? What would we call that? What is source? What am I specifying there? I'll ask you this to be more specific. Where do we use double quotes? What is that specifying? I'll wait to give you guys some time to think about it. What are we specifying there? And you can answer in a C# context, by the way, it will be correct. What are we specifying? You're specifying a URL or a directory. That's true, Jatan, but I'm asking for the type. What is this? What is source? It's a string. Okay, guys, it's a string. So you're literally specifying a string. Yeah, obviously it's interpreted. So it takes the string and it reads it like it goes, okay, slashes mean this. It knows how to do everything. So they do have a complex method that is allowing you to access this. But it is at the simplest level a string. Yeah. Okay. And that's why it's in quotes. Okay, so you can see the language is very different, right? HTML, you can see it looks very different to what C# looks like. But on a basic level, there are very similar ideas, okay? There are very similar ideas here, okay? Cool. So with that, I think let's learn about another tag. So hopefully, have we all got images displaying on our browser now? Have we all used the image tag? Do we understand what we're doing here? We're just taking a image available at a public URL on the internet or one available on our computer, and we're just displaying it as an image. Okay. Hopefully we're good on this. And you can do some pretty interesting stuff now. You can see that you can make this website very complicated very easily. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up quick. Okay, I'm going to copy the embed code. Okay, so what will this give me? I'm going to paste it in chat there. That's what it gives me, guys. That's what this gives me. When I right click on a YouTube video and I click copy embed code, that's what it gives me. One of you guys try just pasting this into your HTML documents. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, I've just pasted it there. You can see it's an HTML tag, right? iframe. It's got a bunch of other stuff. Like there's a lot going on there. But basically, it is an HTML tag. So when I refresh this, bam, Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up is now on my web page. Okay. And you can do that with any YouTube video. So that's the iframe tag. Okay. So there's a lot of tags here. We don't have to learn the iframe tag, by the way. I was just showing you that it's, yeah, I was, but it's just because this is a safe video to open as well. You know, it does get, you know, moving through the internet is dangerous when you're broadcasting live. So yeah, but anyway, cool. So I was just thinking of a YouTube video that I could open on, you know, on short notice. Cool. We don't have to learn too much, but I'm just showing you that HTML it's pretty easy to get stuff done, right? We've created it's a pretty complicated thing going on here, and we were able to do it quite easily. Okay, but I'm just going to go back to our simple image tag. What you guys need to know: p tag, paragraph, body is the body, Head, you don't know what head does yet. You just know it's a part of the structure. We'll discuss it in more detail, what it's used for, before the end of the lecture, in this last sort of 30 minutes. We've also got the HTML tag. So that's just defining a block of HTML. And you need to know what HTML stands for. And you should know that it is a template and tag language that is defining the layout of a web page. And also, it does some other powerful stuff as well, actually. Cool. So we've got that done. The last tag I want to show you guys is the A tag. The A tag, okay? And this one you must know. Okay, so let's do the A tag. In order to show you this, guys, I'm just going to open up Wikipedia again quickly because it's the best place to see this. Okay. You guys see all of the blue text on this. I'm not sure actually. Everyone calls, what would you guys call this? All of the, you see the blue text, I can click on it and open up it'll open up another page and I'll jump around. What do you guys call these? So I'm just jumping around through Wikipedia pages by clicking on these things. It's trap text. I think that's a negative way of looking at it. So maybe you guys call these links. The formal term is hyperlinks, okay? Why are they called hyperlinks? Well, we know that each of these pages, right, this /mathematics page on Wikipedia is where I've made it to now. I can move over to the definitions of mathematics page on Wikipedia, whatever. We know that each of these is defined by a hypertext document, right? And you can see it, by the way. Actually, that'll be useful for you guys to see as well. If you open up your browser, whatever browser you're in, Opera, Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, all of them will have this. If you right-click on the page and click View Page Source, you'll be able to see the HTML defining the web page. This is how all web pages on the internet are defined. Okay, all of them. Every single one. There are no exceptions. Okay, so you can see even in my simple web page here, I can right-click, hit View Page Source, and you can see the HTML code that we just typed, right? You can see it. You can see the HTML code that we literally just typed when I click View Page Source on mine. Okay, so each of these pages is a hypertext document. So when we link to a hypertext document, which is what I'm doing here, right? I can click on philosophy, and then I go to the hypertext document philosophy page on Wikipedia. When we link to a hypertext document, we call it a hyperlink, okay? Because it's linking to a hypertext document. That's just a hypertext link, if you like, okay? Cool. So how are these hyperlinks defined? So where should we put the code for a video? You can literally, in the body tag, everything will go in the body tag for now, everything we're discussing. So can you please show us again? Must I show you how to view the page source? Cool. So you open up your browser, right-click anywhere on the page. Well, don't right-click on a link, though. Don't right-click on the link. Right-click like on an empty place in the page, okay? Oh, it's not working now. There you go. Right-click on an empty page. It might take a few tries. The other way you can do it is push Control-Shift-I. Most browsers will have this as well. And you can click on like sources, and you should be able to see all of the documents here. Like, click it there. But the easier way to do it is right-clicking on an empty part of the page and hitting View Page Source. If you push Control-U, the Control key and U, that might work as well in opening the View Page Source, okay? And you can even do it on our simple HTML page. So if you go back to our page and push Control-U or click View Page Source, right-click View Page Source, you should be able to see the HTML code that we just wrote. Okay. Is that working for you, Sahan? And Opera might hide it away from you. I'm not sure. Some browsers do things slightly differently, but you can trust that what I'm showing you basically by showing you this is I'm just showing you that the pages that are displayed are just hypertext documents. The browser is just reading them in a fancy way, okay? The browser is just reading them in an interesting way, okay? Cool. So, Saham, is that good? Cool. So what I want to go through is So each of these little links here, each of these hyperlinks is defined using, it seems I disconnected. I still see your messages, Saham. Do you mean disconnected from, I don't know what you mean. Oh, okay, you disconnected temporarily, you're saying. Oh, okay. Did you miss the second explanation of view page source? It stopped working. The Zoom meeting stopped working, you mean? Oh, okay. I'll go through it one more time. So you can go to any page. It might be easiest to go to the page we just defined. You can right click on the page. Okay, right click on the page, and it will open a little drop down like this. If you click view page source, it might just be view source or inspect or something like that. If you click that, you should be able to navigate to where you see the actual HTML document that we just wrote in the browser. But all I'm showing you guys with this is that every single web page on the internet, and that is all of them, okay, all of them, even the slide that I have open, all the web pages on the internet, when you get down to it, are just HTML documents, okay? It's just a bunch of tags. That's it. There are no exceptions, okay? No exceptions. All of these pages are just HTML documents, okay? All of them on the net, YouTube, all of them. Okay, so cool, we've got that. The next thing I want to show you guys is this A tag, okay, the A tag. So we've went through what hyperlinks are. What do we call a hyperlink? It is a link that links to a hypertext document, okay? The name makes sense. It is a hypertext link or a link to a hypertext document. We call it a hyperlink. How do we create a hyperlink? We use the A tag. The HTML A tag, okay? So how does this work? I'm gonna go over to our own HTML page here, and I'm gonna open up another P tag, okay, another paragraph tag. Okay. Another paragraph tag. Again, you can type whatever you want. I'm gonna say, what should I type? I'll say, the last thing we learned about was quicksort. Okay. So I just wrote that little paragraph tag there, and I'm just going to Control S that. I'm going to save that. Okay. You can just type Bob. That works too. Okay. You type that. Okay. So if I go back to our own little web page here, and I refresh, you can see the last thing we learned about was quicksort. It added that little paragraph under that. This is my web page for chapter 4. Okay. What I want to do next is say, all right, I want to link quicksort. So you see the word quicksort there. I want to be able to click that and jump to the Wikipedia page about quicksort. Okay, so if I'm going to go Wikipedia quicksort, okay, I want to jump to this Wikipedia page. So I want to create a hyperlink. Just like Wikipedia has all of these hyperlinks everywhere that link you to all of the different Wikipedia pages, I want to create a hyperlink that links from quicksort to the Wikipedia page for quicksort. I'm going to do that using the HTML A tag, okay, A. Cool. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to put an A tag around quicksort. So I put the first bit of the A tag there and the second bit of the A tag just at the end of quicksort there. Okay. So I put an A tag around quicksort. There is another special keyword called href. So similar to where we typed source in the image tag, here we will type href equals some string. What is href? Href stands for hypertext reference. Hypertext reference. So this is a reference or a link, a pointer to a hypertext document. So I'm going to type href equals open close quotation marks, because I'm specifying the string, the URL for this quicksort. I'm going to copy paste this link into those quotation marks, okay, inside the A tag. Oh, what? Why does that always happen? Hello guys, can you still hear me? It's a bit weird because I seemed to be logged out of my Zoom account, or Brighter Futures' Zoom account. You can still hear me. Okay, cool. Then it's all good. Zoom just has some weird things going on. Okay, cool. Still here, everything's still working, so that's cool. Okay, so we've got our A tag, all right? And I'm just gonna point the I'm gonna set href equal to this URL that I just posted there, the quicksort URL. And I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna go back to our little web page and refresh it, okay? Let me just close the Zoom thing because it's a bit annoying to jump around. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh. You can see quicksort is now clickable. It's now like a little link. It's underlined. It looks different, right? If I click that, you can see I jump to the Wikipedia page on quicksort. So that is an A tag. We use the A tag to provide hypertext references, or we use the A tag to create hyperlinks, okay? We use the A tag to create hyperlinks that point to different pages. Basically buttons, and you can reformat them and design them to turn them into buttons, okay? So those are the main tags that we need to learn. There's one thing that we haven't really discussed, and that's the head tag, right? Our head tag is just empty, which is a bit, actually, I'll send the A tag that we created here. Okay, so in fill, that is the A tag that will point to the Wikipedia page on quicksort, and it'll just print quicksort to the screen. And if you click quicksort, and again, you can change what it displays by just typing something else where it says quicksort currently, like inside the A tag, and that'll change what it displays. Okay, so that's how we create a hyperlink. The next thing, and you can see on Wikipedia, if I view page source, like we discussed, so Control U or right click view page source, you can see that all of the pointers that they've got are A tags, right? So you can see there's an A tag. This one points to their Wikipedia article on algorithm efficiency. Okay, so you can see everything's in A tags. Every link, every hyperlink is in A tags. So this is literally how Wikipedia does it. Okay, cool. So covered that. The next thing, right? I want to discuss just the head tag in a little bit more detail, okay? Just a little bit more. So what goes in the head tag? Lots of stuff in general, but basically it's anything that isn't directly displayed to the user or that is defining information about the page that's not like strictly relevant. Okay? So a good example of something that might go in the head tag is the title tag. So you can put title, okay, and inside the title tag, you can type whatever the title of your web page will be. What do I mean title? You can see in the top here, this one title is web applications. This one's title is HTML cheat sheet. This one's title is quicksort -Wikipedia. Whatever thing you type there inside the title tag will be displayed as the title of your web page. Okay, so title, I'll make mine Smurf GIF. Okay, so that's the title of my page. Pretty simple title. If I open up that in Google Chrome, you can see that okay, you can't see it because it's behind the zoom pointer now. I'm gonna scroll it back. Oh, I see someone else disconnected. That's a pity. Who was it? Huh. Oh, Gummy Bear disconnected. That's unfortunate. I suppose they would have posted about it in there. Okay, cool. So you can see, did you guys manage to change the title of your page as well? Did you guys manage to change the title of your page? You did, good stuff. So my electricity just went out. Oh, okay. Okay, let me just respond to Thelma as well. Source, not. Go back to the code. I will now. Cool. So I've opened up the code. I just want to respond to Thelma now because her electricity is also gone out. Load shedding is very annoying. Cool. So have you, Jatin, Azam, have you managed to change the title of your page as well by putting it in the head tag this time, okay? So the title will go in the head tag. So that's the kind of thing we would put in the head tag of a hypertext document. Can I move away from the code now, Azam? Because I just want to show you guys another example of a, I'm going to show you guys another example of a very full head tag. So the other kind of, here is a very full head tag. So a lot of information can go in a head tag, okay? It's any just details about your page, like the fave icon. So you can see the little fave icon for each site, like the YouTube logo and the Gmail logo and the Standard Bank logo, that we call a fave icon. That would be specified in the head tag, and a lot of other things that we'll discuss later as well, okay? But that's the kind of thing we put in head tags, all right? Cool. So that is basically, so there's a lot more complexity, obviously. There's a lot more you can do with HTML, and there's a lot of tags to learn, as you can see from these HTML cheat sheets pages. Other than the image tag, the A tag, the title tag, body and head, that kind of thing, you don't need to know every single tag, okay? Definitely not. We've covered the main ones that you need to know. Oh, P and A are also important. But there are many others, right? Headers and stuff like that. But we will, I mean, we'll see them eventually, okay? So, cool. But let's move on and start exploring the other languages, because we need to get through two more. And we'll just start exploring CSS before, okay? Oh, seems like this page is a bit, I forgot to animate this last little bit here. So let me quickly do that so I don't spoil. Well, I've now spoiled the whole slide, but there we go. Okay, so let's just start discussing the other languages, okay? So HTML doesn't support any complex functionality like C#. So that's what I want to point out initially, right? We've got all these tags and we can define these really complicated templates, but there's no if statements, there's no for loops, there's no while loops, there's no switch statements, there's no addition even, there's nothing. It's just tags, okay? Just tags. It defines templates and layouts. It doesn't handle any complex functionality, okay? So we need more advanced things to handle that. The other thing that HTML doesn't do is styling, okay? So you can see that we've defined some text, but we didn't define a font or a size or a background or anything like that, okay? So we need something else. Or more specifically, actually, we need two other things. We need something that can define styles, and we need something that can perform complex functionality. Okay? So let's start with the first thing we need. We need style. How do we define style? We use what's called CSS. Okay, CSS. It's another language, kind of. Okay. This is called a style sheet language. Some people don't refer to it as its own language. They might say it's just a HTML specification. It's often just called an HTML specification, but we'll consider it its own language. Okay, CSS, it's a style sheet language. This language is solely for styling. Okay, solely for styling. It allows us to adjust things about the font, but in general, it's just used for aesthetics. Okay, general styling, what font you want, the color, the size, the position of certain things. It can define certain animations as well, like simple animation, like fading in and fading out and sliding. That kind of stuff is what CSS is for, nothing else. Okay, it's used for aesthetics, for design. Okay, it can get very complicated and finicky as well. CSS can reference any tag, class, or ID in HTML files that it is linked to from. Okay, so what do I mean? CSS can modify the style of any HTML tag, okay? And it can be very specific and it can be general. There's also an idea of classes, but let's just see it, because yeah, this I think is best learned by example. So let's go see some CSS, and we'll change our simple HTML file here. We're now going to add some CSS. We're going to add styling to it. Okay. You don't need to use, by the way, this whole head tag that I sent here is just for example. Don't copy this into your file necessarily. I mean, you could if you wanted, but it's just there for example. Okay. Cool. So let's add some CSS to this. I think one thing we can start with immediately that will hugely change and change our site, that will have a nice effect, that will show us what CSS can do, is changing the background of our website. Okay, you see currently the background is just white. Okay, so let's do something with that. I'm gonna go with this blue design because I've got a Smurf GIF on mine. Whatever design you're going for, you can use that. But I'm gonna change the background for my site now. How am I going to do that? Well, what do I want to change? I want to change the background of the body. Okay, I want to change the background of the body tag. So in the body tag, I'm going to hit space. I'm going to type style equals, and don't worry, I'll post this in the chat because there might be some typing errors or typos or whatever that will break things. Background dash color, and I have to type color like an American. And then I'm going to specify the color that I want, which in my case is light blue. You guys can make your color whatever you want. Black, red, green, anything you like. Style equals background dash color, light blue, colon, light blue. Okay. Something broke. Let me just see. Why isn't this working? Do I have to put this in quotation marks quickly? I don't think so. No, yeah, definitely not. Why isn't that working? Let me think. Did I type background wrong or something? It's annoying when things don't work. Pretty sure I tested this one as well. There we go. Not sure. Oh, it's because of the space or something. I am not sure. Doesn't matter. Use this one. I'll send it through again. Not sure what was wrong with the original way I typed it. You can see it is very finicky, okay? So use this one instead. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. And you can see now the page's background has changed to light blue. And I can specify any color I want there. I could type black. Okay, that hides the text that we just typed. So we would have to define some other styling there as well. But you could make it red. Okay, and there's a whole lot of colors that CSS already has defined. So have you guys managed to change the style of your body tag so that you can change the background? Have we got that working, guys? And notice you do have to type dash color. You have to spell color like an American spells color, the wrong way. You have to leave out the U. Okay, and that's just because an American made this CSS tags, obviously. Okay. Have you guys managed to change the color of your background? Let me know when you have. So you just add this style. So I'll actually post the full tag there. So I've just changed the first part of my body tag to that. Okay, and then go save and refresh it in your browser and let me know if that works. for you guys. It works. Good stuff. Cool. Judson Azam, let me know if you have problems. Okay. Getting that to work. Cool. So yeah, that's a good start for learning CSS, but still not great. Okay, we want to explore this a little bit more. Okay, number one thing is to make this a little bit neater. So you can see that we immediately have a sort of similar problem to what you would expect to happen in C# if you were doing things in this way. So you can see I defined the style of my body tag over here, and I could define the style of my my paragraph tag here, for example. I could define the style of this paragraph tag over here. I could define the style for my image tag over here, right? I could put the style pointer everywhere, right? But that'll get a little bit annoying. And so how we do this properly, okay, it's working. That's good, Azam, that's good. Jotun done too, cool. So you can see that we can put that style pointer in a lot of different places, right? Here we just put it in the body, but I could put it in the other places as well, okay, in other parts of the code as well. So how we usually do this is that we don't put the style inside the body tag. So what this is called, you notice I put the CSS, so I said style equals, and then I put some CSS code in the string. That's what that background color colon light blue is. That's CSS, that's CSS code. So you can see I put it in the body tag in like 5 minutes. So we would say we put the CSS in the body tag. That's called inline CSS, inline CSS. So we put it in the same line as the HTML. Usually we don't develop things like that, okay? Because it's not neat and it becomes very complicated and difficult to change things. How we would usually do this is we'll define a separate CSS folder. We'll probably explore that, or CSS file. We'll explore that more later. For now, we are just going to put it in the head tag, because this is another kind of thing that would go in your head tag. So inside the head tag, I am opening and closing a style tag, okay? Style. Okay. I'm opening and closing a style tag. And inside the style tag, I can type the name of whatever tag I want to edit, put 2 curly brackets, and then type the thing that I want. So I want like background dash color colon light blue. Okay, something like that. And I can remove the style from the body now, and you'll see that it will still be preserved. There's still a light blue background. Okay. So that's a bit neater, because now I can go ahead and edit whatever I want. All right, I can go and edit all of these different tags from the CSS style tag. All right. So I'll leave that open a little bit there. So basically, I want you guys to move the background color change into this style tag in the body. Okay. Into the body. Cool. And I think, yeah, so 2 minutes left. I think let's not, I guess we've learned quite a bit today. So if you haven't been exposed to HTML before, then this would be quite a lot. And also because of the load shedding, I think attendance is quite bad. So let's call it there for today, I think. But yeah, so make sure that you're where we're at currently with the web page. If you're not, then just WhatsApp me and I'll answer whatever questions you have, okay? But make sure you're where we are currently with this, and I'll upload the lecture video so you'll be able to follow through as well. I guess I can also just share my HTML file with you guys on the WhatsApp group. I can just send it there as an attachment, okay? So I'll do that as well. Cool. So cheers, guys. Thank you for coming today. Yeah, thank you, Azam. Cheers.